faulty bomber. And basically what he said was it was a bad design, it was going to kill people, there were going to be massive cost overruns, in fact. He said all of these kinds of things. Now, with that said, Nixon got upset about it, and he ultimately fired Fitzgerald for airing the dirty laundry. What happened when they went to court in 1982?
The Supreme Court took a look at it and said that Nixon had the right to fire him because under the, there's certain things you can do as president.
Yes.
Because it's like the most powerful person in the world, basically.
Yes. Well, I don't remember them saying quite like that, but three. Go ahead, Ricardo. Two.
Basically, the president, he can fire anybody who's in presidential cabinet because anybody who's in the cabinet, they're appointed by him. But except for the vice president.
Okay, the president can fire anybody, 1, 2, 3, 4, in the executive branch. The president can fire anybody in the executive branch except for the vice president. Why?
Because the vice president is elected by the people.
No, why can you fire all the other people? You're right about that, but why about the other? Why can't you fire everybody else?
Because the president appoints people to the executive.
There's something a little bit more. 3, 2, 1. Who's got it next? Go.
The president needs to be able to trust everyone in his cabinet.
Yeah. The president, 1, 2, 3, 4, at the highest levels of power, needs to be able to trust the people that are in the cabinet. Anything else you can tell me about this? 4, 3. Anybody in the group?
Well, you cannot be afraid to make the decisions.
Okay, why would the president be afraid to make decisions if Fitzgerald could sue and win after he'd been fired? Why would the president be afraid to make decisions?
Because you're going to trust people in his
Because you
cabinet.
can't trust.
There's something more. Go ahead, Ian.
Stab in the back. I mean, at every controversial decision he makes.
What about controversial decisions he makes? What's that?
I mean, he gets stabbed in the back every time he makes a
Give me a legal term for stabbed in the back. What does that mean? If every controversial decision the president makes, what could happen? 4, 3, because you're right, 2, 1. I believe your group's got it.
Wait.
What is it?
You said it was for his honor, Britt? I'm sorry.
No. What was the question?
The question is, if they're worried about the president making controversial decisions, what would happen if the president makes controversial decisions if Fitzgerald could sue and win?
That would have less power.
The president could be sued with every decision that he makes. And the argument is, as long as the president is acting lawfully, you cannot do that. You cannot sue them because then they wouldn't make decisions. I'll give you half on that because that is a degree of an answer. It really is. Go ahead, pick me a category.
hodgepodge 5.
Hodgepodge for 5. Now, y'all notice, I'm being noticeably quieter. Y'all do know this, right? It's on the tape. I think we've got a Pictionary. Who wants to come up and draw?
We did it last time.
Sean, you're a great artist.
All right, Sean.
I'm good at drawing stick figures.
Well, we'll make sure you don't have to draw a stick figure this time.
Oh man, please. I have to actually try to draw something that actual artist like that.
Here you go. That's what I need you to draw. Got it?
Yeah.
That's not bad. Cole, you'll have it looks like. That's not bad at all. 40 seconds. You can write that part since he said it. This is from the judiciary chapter.
Oh man.
20 seconds.
No.
House of Representatives is what we discussed.
No,
in
no, I
the
can touch you on with this.
5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Anything? Cole, go ahead.
It's an outhouse.
It is an outhouse.
And this is
1,
the-
2, 3, 4, 5.
This is the
Tell
Jerry-
me the significance of outhouse.
So Jerry Falwell was this religious leader fanatic on TV, and he went after things he found, I guess, immoral, including Hustler magazine, which I guess is like a kind of a Playboy magazine with nudies and.
So you got Falwell, who's
Supposedly,
this religious guy, and
right.
then who was the publisher? Who was the guy that owned or ran Hustler?
His name.
Larry Flint, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What happened? What did Flint do when he got fed up with being criticized by Falwell?
So they ran an ad in Hustler magazine, and it was titled "Jerry Falwell Talks About His First Time."
Talks about his first time, and what's the implication of that, Cole?
Well, the implication is that it was going to talk about the first time he ever had sex.
And what did this article actually say?
Well, the article was actually saying it was a fake interview where Falwell was saying that they had gone into an outhouse.
Who's they?
Him and his mother.
He and his mother. Go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4,
He and his
5.
mother went into an outhouse, and after she had shown all the other guys a good time, I remember that was part of it, they had to kick out a goat.
They had to kick out a goat. And what were they doing allegedly in the outhouse?
Well, now the article insinuated that they were having sex in the outhouse.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This ad insinuated that Jerry Falwell had sex with his mother in an outhouse after they kicked out a goat in rural Virginia. That's exactly what they said in this. Now, it's actually dealing with drinking Campari liquor. That's the implication. What did Falwell do? Because he wasn't happy about this, right? 5.
Right. Falwell
4,
sued
3.
for like libel, I guess,
Libel,
because
and something else.
something else.
Something else.
Slander?
No, not slander. Minus 5.
He sued for
Out,
emotional.
out. You got it. Lovebirds are sinking. Quick, who's got it? Go.
Emotional damages?
Emotional duress. Yes, that is exactly. No, not next group. Changes group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what did the court hold? Because now y'all have it.
I mean, 9-0 favor. It was.
It was a 9-0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go.
Larry Flint was allowed to post this because it was parody and free speech.
Well, how do you know it was parody?
Because he posted it on the article and in a section.
It was
of
20 pages.
labels.
It was one of like 20 different pages.
It was posted. What did you exactly say at the bottom of that page? You remember?
No, it's a parody, not to be taken
As
seriously.
parody, not to be taken seriously. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right on the page, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was actually as part of a 20-page section, so no person would realistically think it was true because it said it on the page and it said it in the section. There was something else that was special about Jerry Falwell, as far as why this would be allowed. 4. Anybody in your group? 3.
I mean, he profited off it afterwards. That's what I
2.
do know. Oh,
1. Go ahead, 1.
It's because he's a public figure.
He's a public figure. That's what he is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Falwell is a public figure. So Juan, with all respect to Michael back there, if we published an article that said that he had sex with his mother in an outhouse after they kicked out a farm animal, he's not a public figure, right?
Yeah,
So would he be allowed, even if we said it was a total joke, would they be allowed to publish that?
No, because he has like no expectations of like I guess having people criticize him.
And when you're a public figure, you're supposed to take the good with the bad, right? Yeah, mixed group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anything else you want to tell me? 3. Go ahead.
They both, like Flint and Falwell, both profited from it because
Yeah, they did.
because like Falwell supporters like were against immorality, I guess.
Yes.
And then Flint supporters supported him because like I guess
it
like,
sold
dude,
sex.
All of the publicity for the magazine, it generated a significant amount of sales. Go ahead, pick me a category. Gotta go.
Articles for 3.
Articles for 3. Go ahead, click it. The Miller test. This is a video. Go ahead, you got it, Toby.
It's basically for profanity and like restrictions on profanity, what you can and cannot say about.
Is it profanity or is
It's
there
what's obscene.
Obscenity is actually what it is. 1, 2, 3. Can you tell me anything else?
It states like if it doesn't have.
There's 3 parts. What are the 3 parts?
It says that if it doesn't have anything that's it's towardly. No, I got it.
Zoom in. 3, 2,
It's
1. Who's next?
It's not literature.
Go.
It doesn't have a scientific.
Alright, it says that the
3,
judicial test for obscenity
2.
tests that considers community standards, whether the material is patently offensive, and whether the material can be taken as a whole. lacks serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value.
Okay, it's got to appeal to a prurient interest. 1, 2, 3. Sexual, lustful, or lascivious. It's got to demonstrate offensive behavior based on 1, 2, 3 local community standards. It's easy to tell if something is lascivious, and it's also easy to tell, in fact, if something is offensive. So you can usually, it's obscene based on these two. But the third one that Sean said, it's got to lack literary, artistic, political, or scientific value. That's the thing that's the redeemer. If you've ever watched porn, there's a story in there. And the story is the artistic or the literary component to it, you could argue. Strip clubs, they dance when they're taking off their clothes. Make sure when you watch the Miller Test video that you're comfortable with examples. Sean, pick me a category. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 74. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 49. And 1.
We're catching up.
Pick me a category.
Here, group decision. What do you all want?
No, we gotta go.
Alright,
Executive for points.
Executive for 5 is what I heard.
Yeah, let's do it.
List all you can. Click it. Youngstown versus Sawyer. You've got it next. Michael's group's got it third. Y'all have it now. 5, 4.
Youngstown versus Sawyer was a steel company.
Youngstown was the steel company.
Youngstown owned the steel company. And they went on strike during the Korean War.
Youngstown did go on strike 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 during the Korean War. Tell me more. Anybody in the group? 5.
They were producing the vast majority of steel for the war.
Do you have a specific percentage?
60.
40.
40. It was 40%. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Y'all are just about in the lead. Tell me more.
Nixon wanted to. Truman wanted to seize private property.
Truman wanted to seize the steel company and do what? 5. Mandate? Take over. What did he want to do? 3.
Keep the steel flowing, but after the war, compensate them after the war.
Yeah, he did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Truman actually wanted to seize the steel company, force the workers to go back to work, keep the steel being produced. What power was he thinking of? What presidential power was he thinking of? 4, 3, 2, 1. Y'all have it. The presidential doc. -5. -5. Go. Commander-in-Chief powers. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He wanted to use the commander-in-chief power is what he wanted to do. So, was it legal for him to do this? Anybody in the group? Was it legal? 5.
No.
4. No, it wasn't. Why? 3.
Because they're basically
Zoom in on
enforcing
Toby.
slavery. They're basically forcing them to work, which is
The Supreme
basically,
Court said slavery.
no, not slavery.
What did the Supreme Court say? 3, 2, 1, go. Quick rinse group.
Because they can't force them to work.
There were 3 tests, right? What were the 3 tests that the Supreme Court had of presidential power? Anybody in the group? You can use your notes. Zoom in on them, Richie.
Countdown.
5, 4. Go ahead. What's that?
If I read the 13th Amendment?
-5. A lot of guys are not eligible for bonus points. They're not eligible. Y'all all missed on this. The Supreme Court said when President and Congress agree, presidential authority is at its highest level. When Congress is silent, then in fact President still has significant authority. When President and Congress disagree, it's at its lowest level. The law was the Taft-Hartley Labor Act. They voted for him to be able, in an amendment, to seize steel companies, but Congress voted it down. So the Supreme Court said that meant that Congress and President disagree, and they said, Mr. President, you can't do this. Toby's group, if y'all will pick me a category, because we're just about out of time.
What are we doing? Hodgepodge, 4 points.
Click it.
Oh, come on.
Informal qualifications to be president. You got it next. Go.
Okay, so they're usually tall.
Tall is one. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, the video said that they're usually white, even though Barack is black. But
They did qualify that with Barack. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Military service.
they're rich.
It didn't say military service, but you're right. It probably should have. Go ahead.
They're rich. Rich.
They are typically rich. 1, 2, 3, 4.
must be married.
Married, yes. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Christian.
Protestant.
Protestant. 1, 2, 3, 4.
They must be presidential. They must be
What does that
presidential.
mean?
Charisma.